What? How did this happen? All right, let's see if we can actually win a game. Yeah, exactly, Luminar. Like, I don't know, and that's the problem, is it, especially for something like that, well, really it's for anything in this game, that I don't know enough about the game in order to say, oh yeah, well, my opponent's probably running X removal. That was not good. This can go fetch She Who Knows, that's why I did that. Just get this guy. So yeah, we absolutely needed to put them on different rows, but I don't know whether to expect, say, Karathi Heatwave or that Geralt or whatever. And that's the problem. Honestly, though, this game confuses the shit out of me. It's not that bad. I just don't know. It feels very heavy on just, you have to have the knowledge of how certain things operate. If you don't, you just get blown out by stuff like this, as we were saying. We want this off the board as quickly as possible. Even though we're not getting any buffs other than off onto Regis. So, like that last game, it could have been I needed to play in multiple rows, but then they could have possibly, and again, I'm not sure, fit Karathi Heatwave or other targeted removal in their deck, and then I would have lost a billion points anyway. Would it have been enough to lose the round? I don't know. Possibly not. Like, I don't remember exactly what the scores were at that point. Obviously, we lost with all of them in a single row, but even hitting one might have been sufficient to bring it closer. I think we were over 100. But I don't remember... I don't know. And that's the problem, is I don't know which decks to expect which sort of removal out of, other than, like, okay, here, Guerrilla Tactics. Yes, I'm going to see Milva. I'll probably see stuff like this. Now she's going to kill this. And now we've expended, or we're going to have to expend all of our charges here. Because I want to protect this. I don't want it exposed, because they could have any number of things that deal 4. I don't know about that, Atona. I honestly am surprised that there aren't more strictly PvE card games. It seems to be an enormous... And now, to the discussion we were talking about before we even really got into the stream, there actually are an enormous amount of PvE card games. They're just not the ones that you think of. So, like, for example, all of those deck builders, PvE card games. We're gonna lose here. And do we go get another fleeter? If we tutor out a fleeter, we don't have a bleed, it could just immediately die. Which would be horrendous, but because we burned all our charges... Maybe we do this. That means that we're still going to be applying bleeds, and we can get a buffed fleeter immediately if we decide to decree for it. I missed the previous PvE card game discussion summary, so I do like me some PvE stuff. Well, there was a game that Atona pointed out being made by Cryptozoic called DC Dual Force. And I think it's dcdualforce.com, but if you just Google for it, I'm sure it'll come up. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a DC digital card game produced by Cryptozoic. And I had heard about it, but didn't know the details, and Atona found an article and was explaining some of the mechanics for how it plays. It's not due out until Q3 of this year, and I'm very curious how this will do. We're just going to go for this. I don't know if this is a good idea, but we're doing it. I'm hoping that there's PvP, but the reason the PvE came up is, in my mind, all the digital card games that fall into the Slay the Spire category, the Monster Trains, that sort of thing, they are card games, and they are strictly, I mean, Monster Train is a little bit of PvP, but it's not really. But they're strictly PvE. So I'm curious whether, and I could certainly see executives who don't know or care about card games absolutely being like, yeah, well, why would you need to play against other people? Let them just beat up on the computer, and then you don't have to worry about, like, you lop off a whole bunch of potential problems. Like, you don't have to worry about matchmaking. You don't have to really worry about balance as much. Yes, it matters, but it's not nearly as big of a deal. We're gonna go for this. Our Witch's Sabbath was really bad in the previous game, which I think is really what cost us the game. But if you consider all those games, because, say, Gwent, Runestrike, Mythgard, whatever, those would be dueling games, as most people would consider it. Wait, will this buff all their stuff? Because it can't use the order. This actually might have been really bad doing this. There seems to be a huge focus on single player with a new comic being playable weekly. That seems like a lot of dev resources going into ever-changing PvE. Yeah, unless it's, like, super basic. You know, like, there really isn't much to it. And then it's just advancing the story, playing through a couple things. They're assuming that people aren't going to be putting in a ton of effort on, you know, doing whatever it happens to be. But that does seem like, yeah, it's a lot of effort to try and keep up with the Joneses. Agreed. Single-player card games went heavy into roguelikes, just like Monster... Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that's a problem. I enjoyed Monster Train. I've never played Slay the Spire, and if other people enjoy those sort of games, more power to them. I can't get into them. I just don't... Other than Slay the Spire, I just don't care. Or, excuse me, other than Monster Train, I just don't care. They weren't... Without the competitive aspect, I lose a lot of interest. So I'm hoping this DC game does have it. If they don't, then whoever does enjoy it, great. I hope that you love it. I hope it works out really well. And I'm not... That's not like sour grapes or something. I truly mean that, like, sincerely. Because not every game is for everybody. And that's perfectly fine. But it does introduce, you know, that's what prompted the whole discussion about whether they will have it, whether they won't, what's it going to look like. Because, I mean, I'm kind of concerned as to how the hell they're going to manage to do that. All right, they're going to score like 1 billion points here. Those are pretty good things to spawn. Seems pretty good. Not an expert. I don't know that it particularly matters. Last PvE CCG I played, Spell Sword Demon Tide. That sounds familiar. Reminded me a ton of the old single-player Magic the Gathering PvE game. Which one? Because there were a couple. I assume you mean Chandelar, the one that was done by Microprose, I think. Also, I guess a lot of older Flash game CCGs did this weird thing where PvP was fake. It was AI-controlled opponents using decks played by the latter or the players. The game might do that. I'd hate it. There are modern games that do that too. Not necessarily, I'm sure, in the CCG realm as well. But the ones I'm thinking of are... the one that specifically comes to mind is Transformers Forged to Fight, which is a fighting game. The problem is you don't actually fight other players. It's AI controlled. It may be player teams, but it just kind of sucks that that's the case.
Got a hearty hankering for Gwent.
Bang on Microprose, gosh, that's a name I haven't... Yeah, it comes up periodically in my Twitter feed. I mean, partially because I follow a number of dead CCG accounts and, like, when you're reminiscing about that sort of stuff, but I love that game. There were a number of old Magic the Gathering games that I really enjoyed that were, like, they didn't actually have anything to do with Magic. So if we don't win this round, one of these is a Torque, or Torg, whatever he is, the Satyr dude, and the other one is probably the thing that whenever, or no, Torg is the one that when he gets buffed, he buffs other things in your hand, right? Or there might be something else that does that. AK, we're going to get blown out in the next round if we don't win this round. But I think we're going to do this. We're going to pass, force them to play one of those big cards this round in order to take it, hopefully.
You see?
So I think this is they miscounted. Oh, they don't have it. So wait, what? Is this non-devotion? Yeah, it has to be non-devotion because Truffle is not... So we could have won that round if I had realized that it was non-devotion, because I think Torg, whatever his name is, has to be devotion in order to start in your hand. I don't know if this is worth it. So we could get the Incubus. You could also get a bunch of crap. We're gonna keep this. I think this is hopefully good enough. We'll see.
War will be our downfall.
It's Cryptozoa. I don't know that other company, Atona. I'm not familiar with them. Do you know offhand what other games they've done?
Ugh, stop gurgling like
I mean,
that.
ideally, if they had... Like, yes, you could have two different teams doing this, and then you end up with one team able to balance PvP and one for balancing PvE. But the problem is if the cards don't do uniquely different things in each environment, you're still going to butt heads no matter what. And that's part of the problem. Like, you can see that in a lot of other games where, whether it's card game or otherwise, that people complain that, oh, well, this was nerfed for this, or this was buffed for that. And it's great for them, but it sucks for the part of the game that I care about. GG. We didn't actually need to play this. Like, we could have just, you know, won instead, but... I felt like playing all the cards. GG. Alright, what do we got here? I don't even know what power this is. I assume this is direct damage. Yep. So is this like elves? Oh, this is a dryad. Okay. We do have this. We have this. And we have a way to get the troll. So we can set up a very powerful round 1. There's the Sabbath. So I want to keep this guy in the event that we see a, what's it called? The Dryad.
Pen Ikea. Ted Dayred is nigh.
So I think we just go get the troll. Playing in the back so that way if we have to play Orianna this round, we can. I really don't want to. But we have the option.
The elders must.
Alright, so is this an Alzur
Else
build?
they will face devastation.
Some sort? This is not likely to kill him in time, but maybe. I mean, we have the Incubus, so killing this thing is desirable. But it's just going to take so long. I don't know that 4 turns from now it's going to matter. We might have wanted to wait on this again for the fleeter, but I want to try and eliminate this thing. It's unlikely we kill it before the counter... Oh, well, yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't think they were going to let us. Those magic soldiers with max card cost of 4 sound wrong? No, to some extent, but there are valuable higher-end things. You know, like Commander, stuff like that, other board fills, that sort of stuff. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else my list is running. But I think there are other higher-end things that you might want to consider. We're even on cards. I think we play this. This gives us the round win, and we'll have it for next round. Like, that seems like the ideal thing for this scenario. Yeah, those are all good options. I went heavy on the Blitz minion stock, because I think it... Otherwise, you have, like, no reach. So somebody wipes the board, and unless you were very meticulous about not overextending, you're in trouble. Where do you... What else do we want? We kind of have all our power cards right now. We probably don't need you. So the problem is, if we take this back... Because they're going to get these 3 back, and that means problems for a lot of things. But I think we do this because if they're running Alzur or other stuff, we don't want those coming back even more than the Seer.
War will be our downfall.
But realistically, like, they could generate a bajillion points right now, because they might even have a second one of these. They're obviously going to trigger all the orbs. Yeah, here's the other Seer. Things are going to get bad for us real fast.
It is inevitable.
So we can kill one of them, which I think we need to do, like, right now. I think that had to happen. Maybe we needed to do it. I don't think we could have waited. I don't think we could have waited. Yeah, I think there's a list, aside from Mind Doc, which you can get out of the usual deck list document. There's one that was posted by, I forget who, in the official Discord. that you could also pull.
Why should I help you?
You could also pull that one just for comparison. I like the idea of having the Blitz, like I said. I think you represent way more threats, obviously, off the top, and it's just something your opponent must respect. You clearly will get clunkier draws than if you just went with, okay, I'm just, everything in the deck costs under 4, and you do have a draw engine clearly in the A1, but... Alright, well, there's Orb, obviously.
My sweet, sweet children.
So this isn't terrible. They still have a ton of cards, so I don't know exactly what they can get up to point-wise. They already, you know, they advanced one of these in round 1, which we killed. They have the second one in play. I don't know... I mean, I assume Alzer would have happened if that was happening. We're just trying to spread as many bleeds so that way Oriana gets nuts. We could get blown out by Geralt, which I keep meaning to try and play around, but again, I don't know what lists can reasonably play it. Apparently Dwarves is one we're going to have to worry about. For having it, I mean. Wait on this, I guess. GG, we get there. We managed to beat elves. Vampires beat elves, apparently. GG. Accomplished drinker. Alright, so here's the nightmare matchup, Chad. I don't know how many Gwent people are actually hanging out versus people who just like watching me lose. But this is the nightmare matchup that I just cannot win offline. The only times I've won is, like, obscenely egregious errors from my opponent, or just they either never saw the cards they needed, or they just don't have them in the deck. Probably the latter. So we're going to try a slightly different game plan. The issue here that I found is that this deck plays vampires better than I do as the vampire deck. Because they're able to take all of my important cards and not just remove my cards, but they get my cards. So it's control magics left and right. We're going to have to see how we do this. I'm going to try a different game plan than what I typically do. We are going for the fleeter this time because we have the Incubus, and it's entirely possible that they off one of our fleeters. One of the challenges for this is, like I said, they remove our stuff and then get it. So there's a spell that puts something... It removes it from play and puts it on top of their deck. So even if we build up an enormous lead with a fleeter or multiple fleeters, we could end up losing all those points. Just maybe not out of nowhere, but in an unfortunate circumstance. Similarly, if we don't have the troll to protect Unseen Elder or something, we're in the same position. That's before you consider that they also have several different cards that, again, control magic it, but one of them is do damage and then get a copy of it, or something to that effect. I forget the name of the card and the exact effect. I just kind of remember it because it always blows me out. So we got to see what we can do here. We got to try a different game plan. Because obviously what I was doing was not working. Part of me wants to play this now. But if they have that bounce card, we just kind of lose. But to be honest, there's a number of things that it doesn't really matter. It's whatever we do, we're going to end up losing. So we're going to go for the triple fleeter plan because we have it. Like, I don't like this. This seems bad, but... And again, we probably should have split the rows. I don't believe this deck runs that Geralt. If they do, alright, well, we're going to lose anyway. This thing is sparkling. It's definitely that card art, because it's not every animated card. I mean, this one obviously is sparkling. He's got a little lightning on him there.
Though granted, strong and skillfully imposed. It's all right.
So, I don't know if we should try and just, like, force them to overextend in round one. So, for example, we could tutor out the She Who Knows and pass. And just say, alright, play 3 or 4 cards. Well, not 3 or 4, it'll probably be 1 or 2. The gap isn't that big right now. They pass. You obviously don't want to extend more. Like, this was very weird, doing the triple fleeter. But if we can find a Sabbath, this isn't terrible. Because we'll get Oriana, we'll get the fleeters. We got the Cave Troll. So what I think we do here is we Cave Troll, Royal Decree the Wispus, get all our stuff, and then kind of go from there. I don't know that we need to move things. So lead with the Cave Troll. Like I said, we'll Royal Decree out the Wispus to get the Witch's Sabbath. So here's the problem. Okay, so this is the card I was talking about earlier, Yennefer's Invocation. So they will have a Cave Troll next round. But hopefully they aren't swimming in other spot removal right now. Alright, so we do get the Oriana, which is important. Now I need to remember to play Unseen Elder on the left and not the right, so that it triggers in the sequence we want. We also still have the Incubus available, so we can pull stuff back to get another Fleeter. I'm going to play the Elder first. I don't want to get too greedy. These need to get buffed before something terrible happens. Or I want them to get buffed before something terrible happens. Spectacular. So we're never actually going to kill this thing. We're going to have to feast it. But I think we're a few turns from doing that. I think we just get the Fleeter online next turn. The problem is, without a Cave Troll to protect this stuff, it feels like we're just in trouble. We feel too, like, our board feels naked. My list is super is getting closer to your list, lost to a Salem build, mostly due to slow opening hand. You can get some slow openers with it sometimes. That's why I really like the Sworn Defenders in that list. It helps keep the curve low, but it's also... like, you have to assume your guys are going to die. It's just the philosophy of Fire. So wait, did you get... no.
No worries. Sins of the flesh are my specialty.
So here's the problem. If they take this Unseen Elder, they now have double Fleeter, which is clearly really bad for us. We have no way to deal with our own Unseen Elder. This matchup just feels like, did they draw what they needed? Yes, we're dead. No, we might have a chance, but odds are we're still dead. This is annoying. I guess they were hoping for the Elder, obviously. I mean, we do have a bunch of engines running.
Your name, young man, demands you be cursed into an earth.
Everyone has their secrets. Everyone.
Fantastic. But this is what I'm talking about, where they end up being a better vampire deck than I am. Imagine if they had the Unseen Elder. Like, they easily could have hosed us here. And obviously they end up with She Who Knows. Like, what other card would they have gotten other than that? So the goal here is to land the Undying Thirst on the She Who Knows. It'll damage it for this round and for next round. But, like, we're down a card here. We're only up by 3 points, and they have a comparable engine to ours. This is just fascinating every time this happens. Okay, here's the thing I was thinking of. I have no idea why they targeted that. Well, I guess this gives them more points.
No good wine will come from here, not even cost.
And it's Echo. I don't know why they wouldn't target Unseen Elder here. Seems weird to me, but I don't know. Oh my god, I played the wrong thing. Shit. Oh, I meant to do the other thing first. I meant to play Undying Thirst first. Wow, that's just so bad. That's actually really bad. So we have a decision to make as to whether we want to go for the Regis or not. I really don't want to, but I don't know that we can win in round 3. I think we have to try and win here.
Have you ever laid eyes on a captain of such grandeur?
So we could have had 2 more points from the She Who Knows minimum, because it would still be in hand. Like, we would have played it this turn, so it would have only gotten bled now. 2 more points specifically for this round. Hey, Slippy, what's good? How you doing? Oh, you played Mushy, I forgot. Alright, so we're gonna go for it. Well, we got it. GG. I will take it, because that matchup seems awful for me. So I'll take the win. GG. So the difference there, what I was trying to do game plan wise, was I think you need to win a round where you don't play any of your major cards. No Unseen Elder, no Oriana, no Cave Troll, obviously not Regis, that sort of thing. Like, you just have to set up a decent fleeter engine without those things, either on the back of, well, what we did, or the 4-cost thing that has the active ability. And then in a different round, just kind of go all in and hope that they don't have the, like, that removal, the bounce removal or other stuff. I think our opponent made a mistake. I have no idea why they didn't hit our Unseen Elder with the coup de grace, because you could, if they take it, it wouldn't have killed our Unseen Elder, but their engine is keeping up. Like, we won by, what, in the last round? We won by 10. Now, we had the Regis still, but they had at least 4 turns of their own Unseen Elder plus Fleeters that would have been going, and we had no way to interact with it. So that game, I don't think we did anything that mattered. Our opponent just punted. Which, as if Atona's still hanging out, I know Atona's famous for saying, or laughing about opponent losing versus us winning, but the bottom line is, I don't think we won that game. I think they lost that game. Well, here's an auto loss, so we'll make a valiant effort, but it's like 90-10, it feels like. And our game plan of going for fleeters. Monster's low-key the weakest faction right now, though. It seems like they always are. Like, I don't think since I've been playing that they've ever been ranked above, like, tier 3. Maybe the last report had them at, like, tier 2. I could switch to other stuff, I just don't really have the cards for it right now for the most part. To be honest, I was trying Hyperthin again offline because that was allegedly doing better, and it felt awful. Like, just absolutely awful. Boy. I guess this. I don't know, maybe after this game we'll try something different. I don't have the cards to really build much anything else, which is a little weird. I'm not sure what the new Syndicate list looks like, because the existing ones are not legal due to the provision changes. So I know I played against some people running it, but I don't know that I really like the list that I saw. So we have no tutors and no actually decent things to play here. So, like, that purged it, but it didn't even put a bleed on. So we should have blood scented just so that Regis is ticking. But to be honest, I'm so tilted by how this is going right now that I'm already annoyed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm honestly unsure what the hell we even play here. Nice, Luffy. You gotta rub it in, right? We're just playing things. So we're gonna end up taking another loss here. That's the ceiling right now is rank 5, which I got to 4 at the end of last season, and now it's just like I can't get past this. 5. What do we even play here?
Best and last.
I'm not even sure what we do here. So vampires, survivors after this get some vamp wins? I mean, we could. We could. I was planning on doing Vampire Survivors and just making it the whole vampire theme for tonight. Although, I've mentioned this on stream before, I'm the kind of person that if I start losing, I can't stop. Well, there's a problem with, like, the can't stop losing part. But, I mean, like, I can't give up what I'm doing. I have to, like, keep trying it. We're just gonna pass here. Like, we cannot win this round. And I don't know that investing any of these resources is meaningful for us. The problem is, if we Sabbath, we don't even have any cards to pull back. Incredible. Just incredible. Get rid of you. Alright, here are some playable cards. So do we play the Incubus? I think we... No, She Who Knows won't stay if we play that. So what do we give up this round? I think it's the Incubus. I think it's Incubus and we just hope. We don't want to offer up anything else.
Share the night, share the love.
So again, why did that not prompt me to reanimate their vampire? Is that not a legal target? Oh boy. Didn't really want any of those. So if we Sabbath, we get garbage. If the Sabbath is a dead card, we should have mulliganed the Sabbath. That was a mistake.
Chosen one.
Yeah, we have the Elder for additional bleeds. And we have to get it. Like, we couldn't just play it. They would have enslaved it. We definitely don't want them using that. Okay. I guess we do this. I don't think we can risk playing a fleeter out there. We just end up in a bad spot where they'll probably be able to pick it off with this thing.
Behold, Nilfgaard's iron might!
That's problematic. All of that is very problematic. Because now we're in exactly the same position where we can't really do what we need to. They're going to end up taking one of these. It's interesting that they played it there. I guess their game plan is to pop this enough. So yeah, they'll be able to do this twice, take it with this, and then we still have another fleeter, so it's not the end of the world, but still problematic. Or they'll do that. You got me. So now the problem is how do we protect the Unseen Elder, or can we? I don't think we can. So do we bait this with this? I think we try and bait this, because if we can get them to do it, then we play the Elder uncontested. Arguably, I mean, obviously they could have a million other removal cards.
The revolution is inevitable, merely a matter of time.
Huh. What is the last tactics card they played? Oh, good God. Stop with this.
The gate must be secure.
That is so obnoxious. So they're gonna blow up our other guys. At least one of the fleeters. I mean, I imagine they play the tactic, pop the fleeter, poke this guy, take him, and get to play a card. What? See, this is what I was explaining earlier, where they are now playing a significantly better vampire deck than I am. They didn't even need to put the other damage here, because I think they should just take him. Like, they put the damage here, or damage him once to get him in range, then put the other damage here on the fleeter, take this guy. I mean, obviously they have some other game plan in mind. I have no idea what it is. So we have 3 monsters. They will get way better. Like, the point exchange is favoring them a lot. The only advantage here is... No, they'll have Cave Troll too. They'll have Cave Troll also. Doesn't realize you play Sabbath, still should have stole it. I mean, I just don't see any reason to allow me to have this card. Like, why would you allow me to keep Unseen Elder? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Clever maneuver.
Oh yeah, he's gonna kill it, but like, you could have saved that for other things. Like, it didn't have to be that card. We're down by so much that it's irrelevant, because the Sabbath is a dead card. We can't play it. Well, I guess we could now. We get Sabbath now. This is 15. And 4 is 19 versus our 12, 16. And we'll get the buffs like that. Okay, that's concerning.
I forgive you. Success is still guaranteed.
I don't know that that was worth it, but it felt like the, I mean, the Sabbath was dead otherwise. Or I think it was dead. I don't think any of these matter other than just the point value, which hopefully we're going to get enough value out of the Elder that it's irrelevant. We have no other bleeds to buff the existing fleeter without it. The danger is now that Spores is dead, but we probably shouldn't have had Spores anyway.
Quite the menial task.
Naturally. Quite obviously. So they have to have basically 0 points out of these next 2 cards?
I'm coming for you.
interest you?
It's not impossible for us to win, but I just don't see it happening. Like,
I deserve better.
what? How did this happen? I mean, I'll take it. I don't... GG. GG. As always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.